the first person to get canceled?
You!
What? Grant!
If I was gonna get canceled, I'd have been canceled already.
Yeah,
I'm immune.
Roller coasters are homophobic.
That's not true.
Yes.
That's not true. No, you ride them. Riding things is very pro-gay. I do it a lot.
I had this with my OBGYN when I was due to give birth, and I was like, I kind of don't like her because I joke a lot, and then she doesn't really. And my husband was like, that is not the job of the woman who is going to deliver
My
your child.
OBGYN isn't funny. Hello, I'm Courtney. You may know me from Smosh and other videos on this channel. Today I'm meeting with Lily, Grant, and Rehka from Dropout TV to talk about your assumptions. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves to the little people inside the camera? What do you guys do?
I'm Rehka Shankar. I'm a comedy writer and performer.
I'm Grant O'Brien. I'm the co-host of Dirty Laundry and general man about town.
I'm Lily Dew. I'm a writer, actor, comedian, mom.
Oh.
So, people assume the cast is once again afraid that this is another episode of Game Changer.
The moment you said that, I went, oh my God.
That hadn't crossed my mind, but now it's like, well, yeah, that's what it would look like this. This is what would happen.
If this was a game changer, I would piss myself.
And then I would lap it up.
And I would lick it up
out.
for you to see if I could get a point.
That's what they'd pay us for.
Yeah, to lick our own piss.
Next one's a little more serious. People assume that you guys might feel like your achievements might be overshadowed by other cast members.
What achievements have I had? What fucking achievement?
That is actually kind of how I feel. That's a little, not that, here's, I think, what they think. Where a show like D20 is massive, and I don't have a hand in that. I shouldn't have a hand in that. I wouldn't be good at that. Like, it doesn't feel like, oh man, I'm missing out on this tabletop
And that's
stuff.
why you get paid a lot less to drink on camera.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah, it's great.
Like-
I work not nearly as hard as Brennan. It's great.
Brennan was telling me like how many weeks out of the year he was doing a D20 campaign. And it was like every week out of the year. I wear a dress and sit on a couch and gossip with people for 4 days out of the year. That's not an achievement. That's what I do already.
That's me being unemployed 250 days of the year.
I wouldn't say having one season of a show is an achievement yet. So, I mean, I sit on a chair and no one knows where the chair is, according to the comments, and watch you guys get PowerPoints. So I think I'm employed in the exact capacities I need to be.
So, do you guys consider your college humor days, your performances then, as achievements at all?
Well, that was my first and to this day only full-time comedy job where I got paid every 2 weeks, no matter how bad I did.
I loved working at College Humor. I do consider it an achievement. I was head writer there. I'm very proud of that. And I think a lot of those sketches, I'm like, these hold up. I still laugh at those. I still think about some of the things we made there and laugh. So.
Rehka in a long wig, slouched on a couch. Hilarious.
That's such a good sketch.
And can I say, that's the second sketch I ever filmed there.
It was, that's right.
It's a bit interesting when the second thing you filmed at a 2.5-year job is the thing people like the most, and you go, wait a minute, but aren't you supposed to grow as an artist?
Some
Don't
people
I get
peak.
better?
Some people
And
peak.
some people peak.
I still get, the second thing I filmed there was me coming out as bi and not going there. And people still get in touch like, that really meant a lot to me. Usually they say it's like, that really meant a lot to me when I was a lot younger. when I was a little boy and now I'm an adult.
Oh my
It means a lot.
Now I'm Pete Buttigieg.
Pete Buttigieg emailed you?
Yeah, Pete and Chasten, it was a big deal for both of them.
Well, speaking of the end or the last of things, people also assume that y'all might be afraid of Dropout fading out into existence, be it like someone getting canceled or, company fails or people becoming irrelevant or,
Who do you think's the first person to get canceled?
You!
Grant!
If I was gonna get canceled, I'd have been canceled already.
Yeah,
I'm immune.
Grant is like a little bit Trumpy. He's kind kind of pushing that boundary of like, he's done so many.
I'm going into my prime here. This is going to be a great few years for me. Anyway.
I don't think we've answered any of Courtney's questions because we start talking about other stuff.
I do think Dropout will one day not be what it is. It will fade just like many other streamers, not for any like specific reason, just like every streamer has its end unless it becomes a Netflix, you know? So I do think that will happen. And so I do have that fear, but I'm also a lunatic and I try to like have as many irons in the fire as possible. And I love working at Dropout. And the good thing is those relationships will never fade. So that's nice.
And I think that's sort of the business model we've lived through. What, like 7, 8 entertainment comedy business
College
models?
Humor was like the last man standing of that generation of like
Funny or
comedy
Die.
above average. Yeah.
I don't know where, if you're like a 21-year-old comedian right now that's like, I do UCB, but where do I put my stuff up? I'm like, I don't freaking know.
Poor kids, they're going to learn what we all learned. Is like, well, the business models come and go. And as long as you don't get too specific about what your definition of success is and like, okay, I'm working on something I'm proud of right now. And as long as that's true, great. Whoever's buying it, I'll sell it.
People also assume that you guys rely on Dropout only to survive.
And now in the year of 2024, you might assume correctly. I had so little
LA was
work.
just on fire.
LA went through a strike that it never recovered fully from, in that the people that were most affected by the strike did not see any employment afterwards, and then got caught on fire. So you might assume right in 2024 that was where a lot of my income had to come in. But I did write for TV shows, and you can watch those. So I did have
Digman.
I wrote for Digman, I wrote for Grand Crew, or for Animaniacs. You watch those things, okay? And I acted in some stuff. You know, I'm trying to, my irons are in the fire. I'm writing a movie. I have a lot of shit. That's a weird thing.
Okay, I also think that people lack some like media literacy about Dropout sometimes, and they think that we're like in the studio all the time. Or sometimes like there'll be a guest on Dirty Laundry and they're like, oh, while Courtney was on Dirty Laundry, she should pop by and film D20. And it's like they film at different, we build the set.
Yolan pops by,
and then we tear it all down and we build another set. So I'm like, I filmed Dirty Laundry for 4 days out of the year, and I will guest on another show, and that'll be like 1 day. In total, I probably am at Dropout like less than 10 days a year. So
Same.
I've got to be doing other stuff.
And that is a big change from the College Humor days. That's and I wonder if some of that perception isn't like holdover from when it was more of a like day in, day out kind of a
Hardly
thing.
working.
Yeah.
I think there's a comfort in viewing your favorite people like that. Like when I love a TV show, I do love to imagine them all kind of hanging out all the time. It's like nice.
Yeah, it's a total bummer when it's like, oh, actually they hate
each other. Oh my God. Yeah. And so like we do all love each other, but yeah, it's like pretty infrequent how many days of Dropout you get. So you have to do other things like Lily.
Should we hang out every day together?
Yo.
Should we do it in West Hollywood in the former College Humor building?
People assume Dirty Laundry's hosts are running out of secrets.
Yeah, that's true.
They're correct. They've assumed correctly.
Yeah.
A check in the yes box for you and your assumptions, folks.
Yes. Wow. Sometimes when you assume, you're right.
And we're in pre-production for a new season right now, and I'm racking my brain. It is almost like a nice writing challenge to be like, okay.
Do you mean you're making stuff up?
No.
You heard it here first.
No, but I am turning something that's like some of those stories are like, I had a nosebleed when I was 10. And it's like, that's not a story, but
depends on
I'm
how.
a storyteller.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
I got a nosebleed, but from looking at a picture of whatever.
Titties.
Anime joke.
Yeah, like you're
Anime
wait, isn't that an
joke.
anime thing?
Yeah. You have to start writing down things as they happen to you.
I know.
Yeah, or as they
Because
come
you
to you.
do have an interesting life.
Thank you.
Would you say yes to more things for the story?
Saying yes to things is never that. I say yes to things out of habit. I should say no to more things is what I should do.
People assume you guys might change your behavior based on people's comments.
People's comments.
There is nothing Lily would do less in this world than change her behavior based on a comment. No. I don't even think if your husband told you, like, this bothers me.
That would be so rude of him to tell me to change. I would absolutely not. Why?
I'd be terrified too. Are you kidding me?
I've done all the personal development I need.
You can't hurt me with a comment anymore. A comment? Ooh, oh no. Like, and we deal with them way less in the post-college humor into Dropout.
Oh, yeah.
College humor was scary.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we had trials by fire for the comments.
I was told when I got there, I think by Sam, people are not going to like you when you're new. Don't read the comments. We don't.
We got like pulled into an individual meeting with Sam that was like, people will not like you. Isn't that incredible?
I got that. And it was like, okay, people aren't going to like you. Don't read the comments. I'm not going to read them. And we aren't going to base our business decisions on that. And that's very reassuring to be like, okay, well, they're just yelling to themselves. That's fine.
I'll be vulnerable and say that frequently I do read the comments, but I won't change.
I'll just be sad all the time about them.
I also do read the comments. I have to stop myself because sometimes I would not be able to function if I did everything people were asking.
If I get annoyed enough, I will just reply. I don't care.
And we know.
Yeah, that's true.
Somebody was being so rude about Jordan Myrick on Reddit, so I made an account.
I know.
And I commented as myself.
I know, I read it.
And that's what that account is for. I've done it twice
It's
now.
for helping your friends.
Stop
And I love
being
that.
rude to Jordan.
I love that.
I
Okay,
agree.
can you hop on some of the D20 threads and talk about why it's okay for a raccoon to shit out of a window?
I need to
It
make
is okay.
I need to make a new account for that.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that very much. And I honestly because my first year in Smosh, we were this whole new cast.
Yeah.
And I wish we could have had that reassurance and guidance of hey, there's going to be mean comments, but it's okay. You're okay.
I was very grateful to get it. It was nice to have.
Because you don't know when you're stepping into a job like this. Oh, suddenly, I knew the public was watching, but I didn't know they're allowed to say whatever they want about whatever they want, whenever they want, as many times as they want.
I also felt like Sam wanted to reassure me that they weren't going to
Tip your employment.
Yes, my employment wasn't going to depend on the audience response, which sometimes people think it does.
Yeah.
People will comment being like, can't you tell? We don't like her. When is she going to go?
Pivoting a little bit.
Yes.
People assume you guys think you have to exaggerate parts of yourself, parts of your personality or just who you are, just to appeal to a wider audience.
I don't think exaggerating parts of my personality would appeal to people. I do think when we perform, we are performing at ourselves, but I am also performing in that I'm going to speak louder. I'm going to try to make more jokes. I'm going to perform bigger, but it's not exaggerating parts of myself to be it's just performing.
Yeah, it's dirty laundry. It's I'm not going to, if someone's telling a story, I'm not going to throw quips in as much as I do when the cameras are on.
I'm not going to try to direct the conversation so everybody.
Yeah.
And you are classically the heel of a lot of college humor bits and sketches. I don't think we are actually mean to you in real life.
No.
Same with Sam. Right? Sam, I'm not that up his ass when we're just chatting.
Oh my God,
but when
I
he's
know.
hosting Game Changer, it is it behooves the comedy and the power dynamic of that show to kind of razz him a bit.
I think some of that is, we were talking before, coming out of improv stuff. In an improv scene, you're kind of probing for what the thing is, what's funny here. And I think we all kind of do that on camera is is this a thread to follow? But that's not to be appealing. That's to be funny, which I guess is to be appealing.
Yeah.
So kind of yes to your question, to your assumptions.
People assume you guys had to learn to be personalities, on-air personalities, rather than actors or characters, as a different skill.
I do think it's a difference.
I wish I learned a little more.
Yeah.
I remember when we started at College Humor, Sam, in that same conversation where he said, you could have a brand on the channel eventually, and you can play yourself, you can play the straight man, or you can experiment around. He's like Katie, she knew she wanted to come in and be kind of screw loose kind of type of person. What's this?
I think there's no way Katie came in thinking that's just what Katie is. That's not Katie didn't decide
Katie
to do
thought
that.
she was being as normal as one could be.
Who I work with all the time. I love Katie. I like that she is a screw loose. I don't think Katie would say, yeah, I'm nuts.
Okay, well, I wish I had kind of chosen that and like used college humor to experiment more with a brand because I do think I have a thing where I think I'm a little bit utility. So like you don't really like look to me for one specific thing. So I kind of wish I had done that. I wish I was doing your assumption.
What would be your thing?
I wanted to have my thing be I'm like stupid.
Well,
That's why you didn't have.
Okay, exactly. I would tell you everybody's thing is that they're stupid, and it's like no, but I would do it different.
I want to be stupid.
I want to be stupid. It's actually beautiful for an Asian person to be stupid on camera.
Yeah.
That's representation.
It is breaking boundaries.
We don't see that. I need to be seen.
You are.
Willie. What about you? Somebody else talk.
I do think for dirty laundry, the hosting is a very different skill than just like appearing on things. And I actually am so glad I toured like doing improv with UCB for a long time. And I feel like that really helped me learn how to focus and control energy.
Keep things moving.
Yeah. Especially when you've done so many 90-minute improv shows to college students who do not like you and do not want to be at the mandatory sober college event.
I think I do have a pretty strong like persona. I'm the horny one.
What about Iffy?
Yeah, what about Iffy?
Speaking of the horny bit, a lot of people
Shall we?
assumed that you are hornier than, sorry, hornier than. A lot of people assumed you were hornier than Iffy. Should one of you guys pick a different bit? Should Iffy go and pick something else?
If there could only be one person who's horny at Dropout.
You know what's bad? Truly, it's probably neither of us. Like, there are other horny people. It's just not their thing.
Yeah, we're not just so loud about it.
Yeah, they keep it under control a little better than Iffy and I do. Oh no, there's space for me and Iffy in the at some point we're gonna kiss. It's gonna be great.
You haven't kissed yet?
No.
Oh my God, just bang it out.
Okay. Never mind.
People assume it's hard for you guys to turn back off and have normal relationships off camera.
No.
I think the greatest thing about Dropout is everyone is so normal. I do think in a lot of comedy spheres, you will run into people where you're like, are you doing a bit at me when we're just chatting? Like, you don't have to do that. And I think we're all very normal. Like, we can all grab a drink or food together and it would be not like, you know, like trying to like.
What was that?
You don't get it.
Rehka, that was stupid.
That was stupid as hell.
Do you guys feel like it's hard to relate to people outside of the comedy industry at this point in your careers?
No, comedians are the least relatable people in the entire world. No, I can't talk to any of my peers. I don't like it, but I'd rather talk to people that aren't in comedy. That's not true. Now I'm giving glib answers.
I feel like it is easiest for me to relate to someone with a sense of humor. And that can be across any industry because some comedians don't have a sense of humor.
Yes.
But like a bank teller might. But I do find like if I'm with like my doctor and I'm just like making, I had this with my OBGYN when I was due to give birth. And I was like, I kind of don't like her because I joke a lot and then she doesn't really retort back. And my husband was like, that is not the job of the woman who is going to deliver
My
your child.
OBGYN isn't funny.
Not funny. It's not funny. She doesn't have to be funny, but I want a back and forth.
Oh my God.
If you're just getting examined, you're like, ba ba ba, and she's like, that makes you feel bad.
Bad doctor. I need a sense of humor and kind of a passion.
Yeah.
That to me, even if your thing is like something I have no knowledge of, like you're a forager, you like paint houses or whatever. If you like are really into it, I really feel like I can get along and have a lot to talk about with you.
I get it. I like that though. It's just having people who are passionate about things. And,
Yeah,
I
it's
get
just
it.
so hard to like how many dates I've been on with people who are like, you're like, are you like a floating particle in outer space? Like you have nothing that tethers you to the world.
I do also like just like a give and take in conversations. I ask people a lot of questions when I meet them because I'm genuinely interested. But then I do find a lot of times I'm like, I've now learned so much about them. They don't know anything about me.
I am so good on a first date. I will ask the right amount of questions. I have perfect energy. And they will think it was a good date. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. I made it a good date. You could have been a fucking 4.
Rehka, that's so true. That's so like
Grant thinks
deeply
he's
true.
so charming.
I am. I'm a fucking great first date.
I I imagine you are. We're fucking charming as shit. And
Professionally so.
Professionally.
If I have to get past that, then I'm in trouble.
Yeah. But the first date, I'm like, and this is you being your best self.
Oh
my
God.
You don't know where I'm from, idiot.
Okay, last time I spoke with some Dropouts people on The Assumptions, a show, we talked about parasocial fans. Do you guys have any like weird DMs, stories, or interactions that kind of stick with you or that you like learned from?
There was an episode of Game Changer where it was like a Bachelor episode, surprised me with The Bachelor. And on it, I mentioned that my DMs are open. And I get thirsty DMs.
Do you reply to fan DMs?
No. While my DMs are open, and if you've sent me a DM, I've read it, and I haven't replied to you. So sleep with that knowledge tonight.
I made that mistake when I was at college humor because someone like replied asking a question or something. I was like, okay. And I replied, but then it's like in your inbox forever. And then they're just like kind of constantly like, we're having a conversation now, right?
Yeah.
I wish you could like rescind.
I wish you do because
back to
sometimes
general,
if I get a question that's like, what were you wearing? I'll tell them.
Yeah.
But then now
But I don't want to open the door for a full back and forth. It's no. This is the end of the relationship.
Yeah.
Is me answering this question.
What is wrong with people's brains when they're just sending horny DMs off of
In their defense, I invited them to on Game
someone-
Changer.
no,
I said, do it.
to someone who's like married with a child who will never meet you? What makes someone go fire emoji? Fire emoji.
Yeah.
See, I'll take a fire emoji. What I
queen.
hate is like, I used to get a lot of people wanting my farts.
Okay, listen. Did you?
No.
Did you?
No.
I guess.
But how much? But how much? But how?
What's the shipping like on that? I guess is where I get lost.
I think that could be medium mail.
I don't think I get to that stage of
I
the
don't think
thought.
it would stay in media mail. I think you need to put it in a jar, and that's a box.
I'm gonna
and
put
that's
it in an
expensive.
empty book or an empty VHS. I
God.
take the ribbon out, I fart in it, I tape it, I
Oh
send
my god.
Holy shit.
play it in your.
It's broken.
At that point, I just send them a
wanted to
random
see.
empty bag, you know? But no, it's just like, oh, that's a lot.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
is. Joking aside, that's a lot to ask for somebody's
Yeah.
farts. That's a crazy opening offer. A weird particular type of message I've received a couple of times. Well-meaning people that are always white in the name of social justice commenting on something to like for my benefit. For instance, during the pandemic, I really needed to watch a movie where an Indian girl gets to kiss somebody. So I watched the only one of those there is in
Bend It Like
America,
Beckham.
which is Bend It Like Beckham.
British, technically.
British, but not even here. It's just Western world. I wanted a clean hour and a half movie where an Indian woman gets kissed. So I watched that and I was taking pictures of it and putting it in my stories to be like, is she gonna get kissed soon?
This is where I'm at.
This is where I am. I'm very bored in my house alone. And then I took a picture when she got kissed. I was like, hooray, the kiss. And this well-meaning white person or whatever DM me was like, I hope you understand the colonialist implications of how she is like fetishizing the Irish man and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm just trying to look at a kiss. I'm like so sad.
Also, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers is so hot in that
It's,
movie.
so
it's
hot.
unbelievable to not view it as just like a win for me that she's
For you personally.
She's kissing him. I'm kissing him. It's so selfish to take that from me.
Yeah, it sucks.
I don't care where he's from right now. She's getting a kiss. I'm getting a kiss. Don't take my kiss away. And then people will, I've had many of that type of message. I hope you understand the colonial stuff. This is actually like kind of like, I'm like,
And it's all white people?
always.
Sorry.
We've got a lot to say.
And you can say it to Grant.
We think we're very interesting.
If you actually want to help me, you need to fund the movie where an Indian guy gets kissed. Because that's all I'm looking for. Anytime. When I was little, man, the movie Fools Rush In came on TBS all the time. She's not Indian. But I was like, she's brown. That's me. I was like, Arthur's brown. That's me. Brain's brown. That's me. Everybody's me. When she gets kissed in that movie, I was like, replay. Hello. Take this on TBS.
TiVo.
Hello. Well, watching this 80 times a day, put it into my brain.
Another assumption. This one's crazy. Some people might assume that you're constantly in fear of being replaced by other talent.
I think at Dropout, there's such a big stable that I don't I don't feel like there's a one for one. Like literally we do get replaced sometimes if like you get sick and like someone fills
That's
in for
not
you
what
on
they
Game
mean.
Changer. But I don't occupy such a role like a Brennan, right? That like
Oh, you should watch his ass.
yeah, I'm coming for you.
'cause
But like I don't occupy such a role that like I guess I'm not irreplaceable. So like I don't have that fear because I know I don't have such, I can be replaced because I don't have such a unique position there, I guess.
It also doesn't really feel like there are a finite number of spots. Like it doesn't seem like, oh boy, well, there's 8 of us and Ross Bryant's breathing down my neck. I don't know what to do.
For tall guy.
Yeah, oh
Tall
boy.
eyeglasses. He can do better Shakespeare than you.
Ross Bryant is more talented than I am. Like, if I could be replaced, I would have been replaced by now. So I'm very confident that won't happen.
I feel like as long as I keep posting dirty laundry, which will not be forever, like one day they'll be like, you've run out of people to have on this show, or it's just not hitting, it will end. But as long as like I host my show, I don't. Man, if they replace me on my show, that would suck. Also, if I got cast like less and less, that would be like, okay, that is just like the nature of the entertainment industry. Like you do one thing, it ends, you do other things.
Right.
Even if that's like a reality that could happen, I think it's best to like not work that way. Like, because at my job, we've had so many rotations and iterations and phases of cast. And like, I think what I noticed most that brought like a worse job experience for somebody was when they are operating out of, I need to find my moment, my space. You're a threat. Rather than if you can come in and be like, oh, we're all supporting each other and we're all fun and like not even having that in your head. It's going to be a better performance, but also a better experience as a job too.
Right. Good life lesson.
Well, stop competing with each other.
It is. That is a good life lesson.
Yeah.
That is.
So I'm taking all your jobs.
Great. Don't
No.
Don't off the show.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good life lesson. Good.
I've learned.
Break a dumb. Good.
Yeah, good.
It's time to get into some serious ones.
Wow.
These haven't been the serious ones?
No, we have these are the most intense ones that we had, but we're trying something where we're going to rapid fire answer these very serious, very intense assumptions. First assumption, roller coasters are homophobic.
That's not true.
Yes.
That's not true. No, you ride them.
Yes.
Riding things is very pro-gay. I
You
do
think
it a
they
lot.
are? You think they are, Lily?
I thought I just had to say yes or no. You said rapid fire. I thought this question would be over already. I wasn't ready to defend myself. I think the demographics are uninviting.
Also, do you know how many homos are theme park nerds? The roller coasters are the opposite
I
of homophobic.
have to say that I am straight and I hate roller coasters, so I think they're doing their job.
That's right.
All right, next one. Lily could jump over a car.
What you don't realize is that Lily has been secretly working on her inner thighs since every meet. This is how Lily sits, like casually.
actually 100%
That's
right.
stretching. That's not strength. Ever since I gave birth, I can't even my inner thighs.
It's unbelievable what these thighs could do before, in my opinion. I have seen Lily sit in positions that should be in the Olympics. They're just insane, bizarre ways to find comfort in a room. So I
this
think
is so comfortable.
yeah.
It can't be. That's it.
looks
That simply
crazy.
can't be.
When I brush my teeth, I find myself going like this.
Oh
Lily,
my
I
God.
do that same thing. I put a foot up on the sink while I brush my
There's a
teeth.
video that your husband took of you taking a nap and it was on Instagram stories. Do you know what I'm about to say?
No.
It was like you on a couch.
Yeah, like a dog that died.
And you're sleeping.
Yeah.
And there's not even like a pillow here.
Impressive.
All of which is to say, yeah, Lily
you
could
could
jump over a car.
Amazing. Okay, 2 of the 3 people at this table have secretly killed somebody.
It's not a secret with me, so I don't know about the 2 of you.
Okay, so it's me or Rehka.
We're both new drivers.
Yeah, hey, all 3 then.
Yeah.
Because I will say, Rehka, I'm not a good driver, and neither are you.
I am a good driver, so that's wrong.
That assumption is not correct.
I just
That's
don't know
not
where
correct.
anything is, but I am a good driver.
Okay.
Bye.
The newest Dropout cast members are going to be the Costco guys.
Who?
Yeah, this is a new type of guy.
With the Rizzler. Oh, they taste snacks from Costco, and they either get one boom or they get the opposite of a boom.
I am being approached to be one of the Costco guys.
That's not the question.
No, I am being approached. And we're in talks.
Next hot debate. Tom Nook is a fascist.
Yeah, he sucks.
Why?
Tom Nook?
From Animal Crossing, yes.
He's the guy that you gotta pay at Animal
I know
Crossing.
I don't know what Costco. I know who Tom Nook is.
Tom Nook sucks. He's the guy you gotta pay. Keep paying me. I could give you a green roof if you give me 20,000 whatever.
Okay, I forgot
bells.
he did that.
He's an asshole.
That's not fascism, that's capitalism.
Oh, wow.
The state we live in.
Tom Nook might just be a capitalist, and actually that's driven him to more evil than any other ideology ever
Yeah,
could.
what political oppression has he done on your little island?
I feel that he discourages me from flourishing in a way because I don't think he promotes a lot of good energy on the island. I don't know if that's fascism to not have good
I think
vibes.
it
Oh, you
is.
think bad
I think
edge?
it's
You
bad
think bad
vibes.
edge
I think
is
bad
fascism?
edge is fash.
Love that. Okay, next hot debate. Milk goes in before the cereal.
No, that's I've seen it done. I've done it when in my weaker moments.
You've done it in your weaker moments.
In
What
my
does that
weaker
mean?
moments, if I'm low on either milk or cereal and I've got to get the amounts right, sometimes I will start with the milk. That's not the way it should be done though, because you need it to hit all of the cereal pieces on top.
So I'll say that is the way I used to do it as a kid because my parents are Chinese immigrants. They didn't show me how to cereal. I wondered why everybody was able to eat cereal so much faster than me. I thought you put the milk in, you put the cereal, and then when you finish it, you put more cereal in until you finish all the milk. So I was eating like 7 bowls
Golly.
of cereal. And I said, how do people eat this every morning? It takes so long.
It takes
And
so
you eat so
the process is so long.
Been here for an hour and a half.
People should normalize saying burger instead of a burger.
burger.
Is burger is it from the internet, or is that how British people think Americans say burger?
Burger.
And are those two things really that different?
Yeah.
Because I watch the Great British Bake Off a lot, and I love when they make fun of American accents because it's very funny. They'll be like, burger.
Like everyone does like John Wayne. Like,
Yeah.
hey, partner, I'm gonna.
burger.
But yeah, no, definitely normalize it.
This next one's awesome. This is a hot take, okay? D&D is the new hot yoga.
Okay, hot yoga makes people throw up and sick. D&D could be normal.
Every time I play D&D, it is for 8 hours and I eat so many donuts.
I think that's nice. At least you don't throw up.
To the point I'm sick.
Next one. Ghosts aren't real, but ghouls are.
Yes.
Yes. A ghoul is like a landlord and like
Yeah.
that you have, and a ghost is fake.
You're like the president of CBS and hit on your secretary. You're a ghoul. A ghost is fiction.
I agree. Ghosts is random house noises.
Here's one more assumption about you guys. The assumption is that every one of you knows how to riz up your gyats in Ohio and get plus 1,000 aura, which is indeed Sigma behavior.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
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 I had all that. I'm on board. Yeah. Yes.
Grant is doing so much hard work online to keep up with young people.
What is a gyat?
Stick out your gyat.
Say it again.
Stick out your gyat.
Gun.
Gun?
You think it's a gat?
Wait,
gun? She said gat, like with a Y.
You think the assumption is
She's laughing at you.
How do
She's
you?
so old.
How do you riz people up? Do you do it? I do it with a gun.
I actually don't know if I can agree with the statement because when something's so Ohio, that means it's actually so lame. So it's like if you're in Ohio, then you're in a lame place. But if you're rizzing up your gyat in Ohio, I guess you are improving Ohio as an.
Is my gyat like my partner?
I think it's your ass actually.
Oh, I don't need to.
We're the
My ass is enormous. If I do it anymore, you'll die.
Amazing.
Oh my God. Grant is from Ohio.
Ohio has become slang for that which is dull and
I had
ordinary.
no clue.
Yeah.
Our last and final debate is Freddy Fazbear is gay.
Are all these people?
Wait, okay. If I had to use an you were gonna talk.
Wait, I'm gonna make an educated guess too. You go first.
Amazing, please.
Freddy Fazbear.
Smarty pants it, bro. This is awesome.
All right, I remember Freddy Fazbear. Freddy Fazbear. You know Teddy Ruxpin? Freddy Fazbear was the one, like VHS and Betamax. It was the one that didn't go. So Freddy Fazbear, instead of having like a tape player in his stomach, has a record player in his stomach. Huge bear. Enormous. What?
Is that gay?
And that's gay.
Sure.
Like roller coasters.
There's nothing gayer than having a big bear in your stomach.
No, the record player is in the bear's stomach.
I think Freddy Fazbear is my high school track coach who had sex with one of the students.
Oh my God.
No, I didn't play track, but one of my high school's track teachers did do that. Track.
Yeah, we were upset about you doing track.
Yeah. The fact that I said play track and track teacher.
Track teacher, track audience, track audition.
Is Freddy Fazbear the bear from Five Nights at Freddy's?
Yeah.
There's
she
a
did
bear
it.
on the cover.
Oh.
That was awesome. No, I didn't want you to know. That was actually a really amazing journey. I think everybody's gonna really love that.
Grant, did you know who it was?
I'm bi, so I assume that everyone's already a little gay.
That is not the question.
Sure it was. Is Freddy Fazbear gay?
Is Freddy Fazbear gay?
The answer is
that's
yes.
the question.
Okay.
Thank you for
I
getting us
thought
on
the question
track.
was, who is Freddy?
Me too.
No.
I heard who is Freddy.
That was what
Fazbear.
you asked us immediately after I asked my question.
That's our question.
That string of questions made me feel crazy. Like my brain empty. No, nothing. No, any of these words.
So let's wrap it up. We want you guys to come up with some assumptions that you might have about voice actors. So anything that you would want to ask the voice actors that are coming on next week for assumptions?
Yeah, you're all massive f***ing nerds, right? I'm kidding. I like voice actors. They're all wonderful. Massive nerds, though. I assume they're so bummed when they get a screamy part. When it's like, I'm going to have to scream for like 6 hours today. I'm going to trash my voice.
When I was 14, I bought a copy of Rolling Stone with Weezer on the cover. And inside, they talk about how Rivers Cuomo has an Asian fetish. And I said,
Oh,
me?
no.
he likes me? Like people like me? Somebody like me? Oh my God.
Lily, we've all been there. We've all been there where we find out some white man does need this DM to come into his box, but we're 14. We go, can I be in there? You mean me?
Oh, what was the question?
It was
I don't
which
know.
90s band has an Asian fetish? You answered. It's Weezer.
It was weird. It was weird DMs.